Oyetola and the United Bank for Africa, UBA. The Assembly condemned reports of billions of naira of local government funds being paid out under the alleged directive of Oyetola, such as the 25 million naira payment to each of the 30 illegal APC chairmen, 12 million naira payment to each of the 30 illegal APC vice chairmen, and 10 million naira payment to each of the 332 APC councillors. Others are 130 million naira each to selected traditional rulers in Osun State, 13 billion naira legal fees payment to Lionu and Co., lawyers representing the illegal chairmen and councillors, as 15% of deposited funds. Reaffirming the illegality of forceful occupation of council secretariats by tenureless politicians, the Assembly condemned the callousness of the APC cronies and the minister, lamenting that salaries of local workers have not been paid for 12 months. Addressing a press conference in Osogbo on behalf of the Assembly on Sunday, the principal officers, led by the Assembly Speaker, Adewale Ebedu, warned of harsh legal consequences, as every illegally handled fund will be recovered and those involved will be brought to book, warning that UBA faces reputational damage and declaring that Oyetola breached the law by orchestrating illegal handling of Osun State LG funds. The Assembly, which particularly frowned at illegal meddlesomeness of the Blue Economy Minister, strongly asserted that Oyetola has no constitutional, statutory, or moral authority to control local government's funds, issue instructions on LG funds, influence banks, or direct security agencies in respect of LG administration. The Speaker of the Niger State House of Assembly, Abdul Malik Sarkin Daji, has commended the Nigerian Army, the Department of State Services (DSS), and other security agencies for their successful operations against bandits in parts of the state. Sarkin Daji praised the security forces for dislodging bandits from Mariga local government area and other communities within the Niger North Senatorial District, describing the operation as a major breakthrough in the ongoing fight against insecurity in the state. According to the Speaker, the coordinated efforts of the security agencies led to the rescue of no fewer than 70 kidnapped victims. He noted that several bandits were neutralized during the operation, while others were arrested. He attributed the success of the operation to the bravery, professionalism, and commitment of the security personnel, stressing that their actions have brought renewed hope and relief to affected communities. A public affairs analyst, Nnamdi Abana, says the recent measures taken by Anambra State Governor Chukwuma Soludo to put an end to the Monday sit-at-home in the state are justified. Abana, who spoke as a guest on Signaturetv morning show, noted that Anambra State has suffered significant economic setbacks, including the loss of its ranking in internally generated revenue due to trillions of naira allegedly lost as a result of the sit-at-home protests. He explained that traders in Onitsha markets are largely staying away from their shops in solidarity with the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, rather than out of fear of unknown gunmen. According to Abana, The continued sit-at-home has ended up damaging the local economy and livelihoods, instead of serving as an effective protest against the federal government, which he noted is responsible for Kanu's detention.
What is going on in Anambra State is quite unfortunate, and as the governor, the Constitution empowers him to preside over the security of the state.
Yes.
Apart from being the chief executive officer of the state, he's the chief security officer of the state, empowered by the laws of the land to protect lives and property within his domain. So it is within the governor's rights to make such declarations concerning Onitsha markets, because what we have in today's Anambra State is a misnomer. Anambra State used to be the highest generating state, highest internally generating revenue state. But over the years, that internal revenue has dwindled. Why? Because of this subject of sit-at-home. Trillions of naira, and they are lost any particular day that the marketers or the traders decide not to trade. Take for instance in the south, in Anambra State, every Monday, the economic activity is grounded. Then any day that Martin Nnamdi appears in court, the economic activity is also grounded.
Reacting to the alleged threat by IPOB that markets should be shut on Monday, February 2nd, Abana advised traders to disregard the directive and return to business activities to avoid further economic losses and possible sanctions from the state government.
See this instruction given by IPOB, from my perception, any civil servant or any trader, whatever occupation that refuses to adhere to the instruction of the state government will have him or herself to blame. I mean, look at the civil servants. Who pays them? It's not that he who pays the piper and takes the tune.
Yes.
If the government pays the workers, the government has every right to tell the workers to resume. And not IPOB.
Okay.
Already, the traders are dancing to the tune of the government. So, on that particular day, I don't expect the traders to adhere to the instruction of IPOB. Rather, they will adhere to the proclamation of the government if they don't want to run into trouble. Because the government gave them options. Option A is for me to run down the entire market and put up another, maybe ultra-modern market. Option B is for shanties to be removed, the market will be renovated, some shops will be reallocated, and so on. The traders went for option B. So that will tell you that dialogue is already in progress and some agreements have been reached.
An enhanced gas supply deal that will ensure adequate supply to meet ongoing expansion projects by Dangote Group has been signed by the Dangote Industries Limited and the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. The deal saw 3 subsidiaries of DIL, Dangote Petroleum Refinery, Dangote Fertilizer Plant, and Dangote Cement PLC, scaling up their gas sales and purchase agreements with 2 subsidiaries of the NNPC, Nigerian Gas Marketing Limited, and NNPC Gas Infrastructure Company Limited. The upscaled supply agreement is expected to support Dangote Group's Vision 2030, resulting in increased output, better and cleaner energy supply. The agreements were signed at the unveiling of the NNPC Gas Master Plan 2026, tagged NGMP 2026 held at the NNPC Towers at the weekend in Abuja. Dangote Petroleum Refinery MD David Bird signed on behalf of the refinery, while the Group Managing Director of Dangote Cement PLC, Arvid Pathak, signed on behalf of the cement company. Mustafa Matawali signed on behalf of Dangote Fertilizer FZE. Bird said that the agreement demonstrated the refinery's bold steps to expand its capacity. According to him, the agreement marks a critical milestone in the expansion drive, as well as a proactive measure to lock in vast energy requirements for the anticipated increase in its production capacity. Pathak described the agreement as an enabler of DCP's strategic objectives. He outlined that the agreement guarantees the gas required to support the drive towards CNG adoption as autogas and to meet the increasing gas demand as local production capacities are expanded. He added that the partnership also promotes the adoption of cleaner fuel for both autogas through CNG and gas to support increased production output. Up next is foreign news.
Right-wing candidate Laura Fernandez has declared victory in Costa Rica's presidential election after preliminary results gave her a commanding lead and her closest challenger conceded defeat. The move early on Monday came after Supreme Electoral Tribunal said that votes tallied from 81% of polling stations show the candidate of the Serving People's Party winning 48.9% of the vote. Fernandez's closest challenger was economist Alvaro Ramos of the National Liberation Party, who obtained 33%. At third was Claudia Doubles, a progressive architect and former First Lady, who was just shy of 5% of the vote. Fernandez needed at least 40% to win the election outright and avoid a runoff on April 5th. The politician is the hand-picked successor of incumbent President Rodrigo Chavez and campaigned on continuing his top security policies. She has pledged to complete a maximum security mega prison that Chavez started to build in August, saying that it would isolate leaders of organized crime, cutting them off from the outside world. She has also advocated for mandatory prison labor and stricter criminal sentencing. Pakistani security forces have killed at least 145 fighters in the restive Balochistan province in a manhunt launched after a series of coordinated gun and bomb attacks that left nearly 50 people dead. The announcement on Sunday came a day after the attacks, which began early on Saturday at multiple locations across southwestern Balochistan and left 31 civilians, including 5 women and 17 security personnel, dead. The assault, claimed by the banned separatist Balochistan Liberation Army, BLA, prompted authorities to impose long-month security restrictions on the province, banning public gatherings, demonstrations, and limited traffic movement. The measures also banned the use of face coverings that concealed the identification of individuals in public places. Safraz Bukti, the provincial chief minister, told reporters in Quetta that troops and police officers responded swiftly to the attacks, killing 145 members of Fitna al-Hindustan, a phrase the government uses for the BLA. He said the number of fighters killed over the past 2 days was the highest in decades. China has executed 4 members of the Bai family mafia, one of the notorious dynasties that ran scam centers in Myanmar. They were among 21 of the family's members and associates who were convicted of fraud, homicide, injury, and other crimes by the court in Guangdong province. Last November, the court sentenced 5 of them to death, including the clan's patriarch Bai Shuaozheng, who died of illness after his conviction. Last week, China executed 11 members of the Ming family mafia as part of its crackdown on scam operations in Southeast Asia that has entrapped thousands of Chinese victims. For years, the Bais, Mings, and several other families dominated Myanmar's border town of Lower Kang, where they ran casinos, red light districts, and cybercrime operations. At least 12 people have been killed in a Russian drone attack on a bus carrying miners in Ukraine's southeastern Dnipropetrovsk region. Police said the attack took place in the city of Teretivka. Footage posted by the state emergency services showed a charred bus with shattered windows that had veered off the road. Energy firm DTEC said in a statement that the killed and wounded were its employees returning from a shift. Earlier on Sunday, regional officials said at least 9 people had been wounded in Russian strikes on a maternity hospital and a residential building in the southeastern city of Zaporizhzhia. The attacks come days after United States President Donald Trump said Russian President Vladimir Putin had agreed to temporarily halt the targeting of the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv, and other cities amid freezing temperatures that have brought widespread hardship to Ukrainians. The Kremlin confirmed on Friday that it agreed to suspend attacks on Kyiv until Sunday, but did not reveal any further details. Russia said Ukraine had trilateral talks with the US in the UAE capital, Abu Dhabi, last month and are expected to meet for a second round this month, amid ongoing US pressure to end their nearly 4-year war. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Sunday that the second round of talks will take place in Abu Dhabi on Wednesday and Thursday, while Ukrainian and Russian officials have agreed in principle with Washington's demands for a compromise. Moscow and Kyiv differ deeply over what an agreement should look like. And that's it on the foreign scene.
Next is sports news with Christopher Lele.
With just a few days to the kickoff of Nigeria's FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup qualifying fixture against Senegal, the Falconets remain in Ibadan amid uncertainty over the approved venue for the match. The Nigerian Football Federation (NFF) announced on Friday that the Confederation of African Football (CAF) had granted approval for a change of venue for the third-round first-leg qualifier, scheduled for Saturday, February 7, 2026. The match was moved from the Lekon Salami Stadium in Ibadan to the MKO Abiola Sports Complex in Abeokuta due to concerns over the deteriorating condition of the Ibadan pitch. NFF Director of Competitions Ruth David confirmed that the Abeokuta facility would host the encounter, noting that the decision followed an inspection of the playing surface at the Lekon Salami Stadium, which had earlier staged a Nigerian second-round qualifier against Rwanda in September 2024. However, despite the Federation's announcement and CAF's approval, the Ogun State government is yet to give final clearance for the match to be played at the MKO Abiola Sports Complex. As a result, the Falconets, who have been camped in Ibadan in preparation for the fixture, have been unable to relocate to Abeokuta to acclimatize the new playing surface. South Africa has announced its readiness to host the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations (WAFCON) following Morocco's reported withdrawal from the tournament just 2 months before the scheduled kickoff. The 2026 WAFCON is due to take place from March 17 to April 3, 2026, under a compressed calendar that follows the delayed 2024 edition. That tournament was affected by global scheduling challenges, including the Paris Olympic Games. South Africa's Deputy Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture, Piers Mabe, confirmed the development on Sunday evening, revealing that the country had agreed to take over hosting responsibilities at short notice. Speaking at the Super League Award ceremony in Johannesburg, Mabe said the handover had been concluded, leaving South Africa with a limited preparation window for Africa's flagship women's football competition. The tournament also serves as a qualification pathway for the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup in Brazil.
Tonight, I would like to announce that South Africa will be hosting the 2026 WAFCON, which we all know that is a qualifying tournament for the 2027 Women FIFA World Cup to be held in Brazil. Shine, South Africa. So, Banyana, this belongs to us.
Morocco's decision to withdraw has come as a surprise, particularly after the country successfully hosted the Men's Africa Cup of Nations earlier this year. Neither Moroccan authorities nor the Confederation of African Football (CAF) has issued an official statement explaining the withdrawal. Super Eagles forward Victor Osimhen delivered a standout performance on Sunday, marking a major personal milestone as Galatasaray cruised to a commanding 4-0 victory over Kayserispor in the Turkish Super League. Osimhen scored his 200th career goal during the encounter, a landmark achieved through 165 goals at club level and 35 strikes for the Nigerian national team. The prolific striker was central to Galatasaray's dominance and was deservedly named man of the match. The Nigerian international featured for 82 minutes and produced an all-round performance, completing 88% of his passes, creating 2 chances, registering 7 shots on target, and contributing a goal and an assist. Osimhen has now scored 14 goals in 20 appearances across all competitions this season, underlining his consistent impact in attack. Atletico Madrid said they have reached a deal with Serie A team Atalanta to sign Nigeria forward Ademola Lookman. Lookman is already in Madrid to sign his contract, the Spanish club said Sunday. The 28-year-old played for Fulham and Leicester before joining Atlanta in 2022. He also previously played for Leipzig and Everton. Lookman scored 3 goals for Nigeria in the Africa Cup of Nations, where his team finished 3rd after losing to Morocco in a shootout in the semi-finals. Atletico are 3rd in La Liga, 9 points behind 2nd place Real Madrid and 10 points behind leaders Barcelona after 22 matches. In tennis, Carlos Alcaraz has already broken a lot of records in his young career, but in Melbourne on Sunday night, he broke his biggest one yet. He battled past Novak Djokovic for his first Australian Open title 2-6, 6-2, 6-3, 7-5, and having already won the other 3 Grand Slam events, twice each, no less. The 22-year-old Spaniard has become the youngest man in tennis history to complete the career Grand Slam. The previous record dates all the way back to 1938, when the late Dunbarge, a slightly older 22 at the time, completed his set at Roland Garros. Having won his first US Open title at age 19, his first Wimbledon title at age 20, and his first Roland Garros title at age 21, it's only fitting that Alcaraz would win his first Australian Open this year at age 22. That's Sport News on Signature TV. I am Christopher Lele.
President Bola Tinubu celebrates late Afrobeat legend Fela Anikulapo Kuti on his Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. Kendrick Lamar surpasses Jay-Z as most awarded rapper, and Oravi makes history as the youngest Grammy winner at 8. These and more on the entertainment news with Gwyneth Mokonta.
Afrobeat legend Fela Anikulapo Kuti has etched his name into history as the first African musician to be conferred with a Lifetime Achievement Awards by the Recording Academy. The honor was bestowed posthumously at the 2026 Special Merit Awards in Los Angeles at the weekend, a day before the main Grammy Awards ceremony. His children, Yeni, Kunle, Shalewa, and Femi Kuti, were present to receive the award on his behalf. While addressing the audience, Yeni Kuti thanked the Recording Academy and said she believed their father would be full of smiles wherever he is. She also recognized her siblings, Moturayo and Sheun, who were absent, and applauded her nephew, Made Kuti, for pushing Afrobeat to greater heights. Femi Kuti, in his remarks, expressed appreciation to those who have helped sustain and spread Afrobeat across the world, including DJs, media practitioners, their record label partisans, Lego teams, and fans globally. He described the recognition as a milestone not just for their late father, but for Africa and the global fight for justice. Fela shared the prestigious honor with other celebrated figures in global music, among them Whitney Houston, Chaka Khan, Che and Paul Simon. Meanwhile, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has paid a glowing tribute to the legendary Afrobeat pioneer on the award. In a tribute he personally issued in Abuja to celebrate Fela's awards, President Tinubu described the late musician as a towering figure whose influence transcended music, culture, and generations, saying the world had honored a giant. The president said Fela was more than a musician, portraying him as a fearless voice of the people, a philosopher of freedom, and a revolutionary force whose music confronted injustice and reshaped global sound. Kendrick Lamar dominated the 68th Annual Grammy Awards, sweeping all 4 rap categories. His album Jinx won Best Rap Album, while TV Off earned Best Rap Song. Luther featuring Senza won Best Melodic Rap Performance and Record of the Year, and Chains and Whip took Best Rap Performance. With these wins, Lamar surpassed Jay-Z to become the most awarded rapper in Grammy history with 27 awards. Elsewhere, Olivia Dean won Best New Artist, continuing the streak of female winners since 2017. Billie Eilish claimed Song of the Year for Wildflower. Bad Bunny made history as the first Spanish-language artist to win Album of the Year with Debbie Tyra Mas Photos. Pharrell Williams received the Dr. Dre Global Impact Award, while Beyoncé remains the most awarded artist ever with 35 Grammys.
And we say, you know what? We're going to do just that. No cursing, and we're going to make sure that this song represents love. So I want to appreciate and give thanks to SZA.
I just want to say thank you to Kendrick for lifting me up. I just am a small part of this record, but what I really wanted to say is, please don't fall into despair. I know that right now is a scary time. I know the algorithms tell us that it's so scary and all is lost. There's been world wars, there's been plagues, and we have gone on. We can go on. We need each other. We need to trust each other and trust ourselves, trust your heart. We're not governed by the government, we're governed by God, and I thank you so much. So God bless you, that's all I want to say.
That's right. So with that being said, we're going to continue to move like that. Luther forever. Cheryl, thank you so much. If you're out there listening, watching, we appreciate you at the bottom of our hearts. Luther forever. Thank y'all.
8-year-old American singer Aura V has made history